Ah, yes. Welcome, everyone. It's Marijuana Times show for March 12th, 2018. Found myself and many other great writers over at marijuanatimes.org, covering everything you need to know about the cannabis community, industry, and beyond. Of course, you can find all the episodes of the Marijuana Times show there as well and share them on your social media networks. Also, make sure you search Apple Podcasts for the audio-only version of the show. For those of you on the go, search Apple Podcasts for the Marijuana Times and get the audio podcast for your travels, or if you're at the gym and the sound of my voice pumps you up, gets you ready to get those goals. Well, I'm here to help. Whatever I can do to help you along by telling you about cannabis news and commenting on it, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm here for. I'm here for you. Today's stories, talking about a bunch of Tennessee businesses that were shut down for selling CBD because of the ignorance of law enforcement there. Talk about that. Also give you an update on the story I told you last week about a Texas father who was fighting for guardianship of his autistic daughter and was in trouble for giving her cannabis to treat her autism and the effects of her autism. We'll update you on that. And a new poll out of Michigan on marijuana legalization. Michigan, one of the big states this year, they're probably going to vote on marijuana legalization in 2018. So, and the poll's looking good. I'll tell you more about it coming up. But first, the Marijuana Time Show, of course, is brought to you by naturesidecannabis.com. Natureside, site is spelled C-I-D-E. Check out their organic, all-natural pesticides. If you are a cannabis cultivator in a state where it is legal, not only do you not want to use harmful chemicals on your plants, because people are going to be ingesting those harmful chemicals, you also want to be regulatory compliant. States with growing have a bunch of regulations about growing. Of course, one of them in many states is a regulation about pesticide use, what pesticides you can use. Well, Natureside is approved for use on cannabis cultivation in Colorado, Oregon, and Washington. Naturesidecannabis.com, a proud sponsor of the Marijuana Time Show. Go check them out. Not only their products, but their expertise in getting you regulatory compliant. You want to, you want to pass regulations. If you don't, you're going to lose your license to grow, and that's not going to help, because if you don't have a license to grow, then you are not growing legally in your state. This first story comes to us from marijuanatimes.org. It's by Stephanie Hollander. Tennessee businesses raided for selling legal hemp products. That's right. February 12, 2018, police raided and then proceeded to padlock 23 businesses in the towns of Murfreesboro, Laverne, and Smyrna, Tennessee. All towns I have obviously never heard of, if my butchering of their names didn't clue you in. They also indicted 21 people in the investigation that law enforcement officials named Operation Candy Crush. Wasn't that cute? After the raids, the authorities held a press conference to inform the public that they were responding to a tip they received about the selling of cannabis, gummies, and vapes. As a result, the stores were shut down, warrants were issued, and all CBD products in the stores were confiscated in order to be tested for cannabis. Now, there was a press conference in which Smyrna, Tennessee's Police Chief Kevin Arnold revealed his lack of knowledge on the difference between the marijuana and hemp. During a press conference, a local reporter asked the police chief what hemp is used for, and his response was, quote, "It's used to get high." So there's problem, major problem number one. Hemp is not used to get high. It's a very low THC content. The reporter explained that the CBD, the hemp-derived CBD, doesn't contain THC to get high with, to which the chief then followed up with, quote, "Why are they buying it?" I don't know. Another use? Some other use? Why would anybody buy something that doesn't get them high? Because it has another use? I don't know. In this case, medical uses. There's many known medical uses for CBD products. So it's just, and I know if you watch the show a lot, you know that I repeat themes and bullet points. And this is one of them that I repeat a lot, probably more than any other. It's fine to be ignorant about cannabis. Excuse me. It's fine. You can be ignorant about whatever you want. With the amount of information that's out there today, there's nothing wrong with being ignorant about a subject. You're not going to know everything about every subject. Maybe you know some subjects very well. Many subjects you know not at all. That's great. Nothing wrong with that. If you want to learn a subject, all the information is easily available on the internet. Google, YouTube, whatever. The problem is if you have power over something, like this sheriff has power over who's selling CBD products, that's when it is incumbent upon you to learn something about it. Like if you're one of the people that's one of the bureaucrats or the politicians or the lawmakers that has power over marijuana legalization and marijuana law reform and cannabis policy in general, you should learn something about what you're talking about. And again, this information is available. It's very easy to find out what CBD is. It's very easy to find out that you can't get high from hemp. 5 minutes of searches. I don't know what this police chief's doing. Maybe other things. Maybe he's just got a full plate of stuff in Smyrna. Maybe there's a lot of crime in Smyrna, Tennessee, that he's overwhelmed. And he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't have time to look up CBD or hemp or anything. I don't know. The hemp-educated reporter proceeded to inform him of a few uses. Despite CBD being legal to sell in Tennessee, stores that were raided remain closed until a local judge ruled in favor of the businesses being allowed to reopen their doors on February 19th. On February 28, 2018, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigations dropped all the charges associated with the raids. The test results came back, and as expected, the confiscated CBD products were in compliance with Tennessee hemp laws. It seems like common sense. But again, as I've said many times before, common sense isn't the rule of thumb anymore. It's almost as if the existence of an ability to get all this information kind of lulls people into thinking, well, they have all the information. No, you actually have to go look for it. You have to learn the information. Just because all the information is on the internet doesn't mean that you know it. And if you're raiding places for selling legal CBD in your state, that's the time to learn something about what you're doing. I'm sure the police chief of Smyrna, Tennessee, knows about, Miranda rights. Well, maybe that's a bit of a wishful thinking on my part, but you would think that he knows things that he's in control of, and he knows things that affect his job, but apparently he doesn't. He has no idea. He thinks people are smoking hemp CBD doobies to get high. Absolutely ridiculous. This next story is from the Associated Press. You remember a story that I did last week about a man who was trying to get guardianship of his daughter. Basically, his daughter is 18 years old. In Texas, and I'm sure in many other states, there has to be a special hearing. Someone who's 18 to continue your guardianship of them. They have something, some kind of ailment or something that keeps them from being guardians of themselves. In this case, this girl, Kara, has autism. Dealt with it all her life. Physically abuses herself because of the autism, or did before her parents started treating her with medical marijuana. And she stopped hitting herself and stopped with the self-abuse and has a much higher quality of life. So anyway, the Zartler family of Richardson, Texas, they decided after a few years of using cannabis vapor to treat their daughter's autism, the amazing results that they came up with and that happened, that followed from that. They're going to be poster children for medical marijuana legalization in Texas to help people in their situation, find the benefits of cannabis. Well, that got them on the radar of Child Protective Services in Texas, landed them in a courtroom fighting for their parental rights. So anyway, when they're trying to get guardianship for their daughter, who's now 18, trying to, I guess, re-up guardianship, if you will, the CPS said, no, he's a danger. He's been giving his daughter an illegal substance, and that's not good. So he's a danger. So they decided they're going to fight what was going on. As you see there, if you're watching the video version of the show, there's the father, Mark. showing how he applies or gives a cannabis vapor to his daughter, which helps with her autism. So anyway, we told you that story last week. If you want to go back and find that video, it's entitled something like, will a father be punished for helping his daughter, or something like that. In any case, good news out of Texas. Last week, Dallas County Probate Court Judge Brenda Hall Thompson ruled that Mark and Christy Zartler were fit guardians of their daughter, Kara. And so they now have guardianship of their daughter, which is great. And here you see this picture of signing documents after they were given legal guardianship of their daughter. Now, obviously, this is great news. It's fantastic news. As I said at the time, this is what needed to happen in this case. The sad part about it is that it doesn't change what brought this case about to begin with. I mean, obviously, on a case-by-case basis, hopefully judges will decide that parents who administer cannabis to their children and who are helping their children and are clearly not abusing their children will get to continue to care for those children. But going on a case-by-case basis is not really, it doesn't seem like the way we want to do this. It seems that it would be better if the law were changed. Now, obviously, legalization will do a lot for that. Obviously, marijuana is not legal in Texas. Even medical marijuana, except for some limited CBD, is not legal in Texas. Marijuana legalization, medical marijuana legalization will all go a long way towards alleviating this problem. Now, in states that already have medical marijuana, there's still a problem with Child Protective Services. Those laws need to be cleared up. A lot needs to happen to make sure that parents who are treating their children with medical marijuana are not considered abusive. They're helping their children. You know, so like in the case with the Zartler family and any other families, they go through all these different prescription drugs and all of these other medications that make their kids zombies or have horrible side effects. And they discover cannabis, and they discovered the cannabis not only works better than the prescription drugs and the pills and whatever, but that it's also, marijuana is also safer, has less side effects. And for these people to be worried about their kids being taken away in the middle of them treating their sick kids, I mean, they have enough on their plate. They have enough going on. And they're clearly not abusing their children. You take this case or any other case you saw in the Sanjay Gupta documentaries or anything else. You can find these videos all over YouTube. People treating their children with cannabis products and giving them a quality of life that they didn't have before. That's not abuse. That's not neglect. Improving greatly the quality of life of your child is the farthest thing from neglect that there is, and it's what a parent is supposed to do. And if this is going to go by case basis, and every time a case like this comes up, we have to say, well, hopefully the judge does the right thing. It needs to be fixed on a legislative level. Obviously, marijuana legalization, as I said, will alleviate a lot of these problems. But even where medical marijuana is legal already, activists need to focus on these laws and improving these laws and keeping parents from having Child Protective Services hovering over them or taking their guardianship away or taking their kids away when they are helping their children. But we'll see. In any case, good news out of Texas. This last story is from minormal.org, a new poll out of Michigan about legalization. They're gathering signatures in Michigan right now to get legalization on the Michigan ballot, statewide ballot, in November of 2018. The survey question was asked, if enough valid petition signatures are collected, a proposal may appear on a future election ballot relating to the issue of marijuana. The proposal would make the possession and cultivation of limited amounts of marijuana legal in the state of Michigan for adults age 21 or older. Also, would allow the sale of marijuana to adults 21 or older by stores that would be licensed by the state, and finally would tax the sale of marijuana in these licensed stores. If this proposal were to appear on the future election ballot, if the election were held today, would you vote yes to approve the proposal or would you vote no to oppose it? The breakdown, you can see there in the little pie graph on the screen, 45% of respondents said they would definitely vote yes. 13% said they would probably vote yes, and 3% leaned toward voting yes, for a total of 61% that would vote yes. But like I said, 45% of respondents said they would definitely vote yes Very strong numbers. The no category, 28% said they would definitely vote no, with 6 saying they would probably vote no, and 1% leaning toward voting no, 4% undecided. So the total yes vote was 61%, and the total vote no vote was 35%. And the definitely yes vote being the definitely no vote, 45% to 28%. So good poll numbers there in Michigan, which is what is needed if you hope to pass marijuana legalization on the ballot. You have to have pretty good poll numbers. And the poll numbers have been rising in Michigan as they have been in many other states. So good news there. Hopefully they can get everything together, get the signatures. They tried in 2016. A lot of the signatures were vacated and taken out. A lot of the valid signatures because of time problems. The signatures weren't gathered in the time window that is necessary to get something on the ballot in Michigan. So they're trying again in 2018. Hopefully it happens. They have medical marijuana in Michigan, but it's a medical marijuana program that has a lot of problems, and they're still working on it. They've been working on it for years. It's created a lot of problems between law enforcement and medical marijuana patients. Hopefully recreational legalization comes to Michigan. So quite a few states, 2018, are voting on legalization, whether on medical or on recreational, or at least working on. Of course, we'll cover all of those states, stories, and more here on the Marijuana Times Show and at marijuanatimes.org. Thank you to naturesideCannabis.com for being a proud sponsor of the show. Go check out the organic, all-natural pesticides, naturesidecannabis.com. And make sure you check out the Marijuana Times Show, of course, on the website, also YouTube and Facebook. Search the Marijuana Times to find the show. Continue to like, comment, and share the videos. You're helping us grow this show and spread the truth about cannabis. Thanks, everybody, for checking us out. It's a new week, and we're here fighting for marijuana law reform. See you next time on the Marijuana Times Show.